And now from McAllen City Hall, a meeting of the McAllen City Commission.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's City Commission meeting. There was a few people that signed up for public comment, but it's part of the public hearing, so we'll just take them up then. So we'll begin with Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation by Commissioner Tony Aguirre. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us bow our heads. Lord, we thank you for this great day. Every day that you allow us to be here on earth is a day we spend waiting for the day that you come to call for us, Lord. Lord, we ask you to bless our Catholic brothers and sisters that are going through their grief of the loss of their leader. We ask for this community to be good to each other, be kind to each other, and we ask us for guidance through this meeting. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Number one, public hearings. Council or proclamations. Well, first of all, I know we're probably not going to meet, but want to wish Commissioner Pepe Cabeza de Vaca is going to have a birthday on May the 4th.
Thank you.
You're looking pretty good for 60.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.
Then we have a proclamation, awesomely authentic day, Commissioner Cabeza de Vaca.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is a very special proclamation. You know, we all know somebody with autism, you know, a family member, a friend, and very sympathetic that we go ahead and support, you know, these efforts, and thank you. Thank you, Muriel, for these efforts. State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, City of McAllen. Whereas awesomely authentic is spelled different to signify the AU for autism and represent the nonprofit organization and its mission. And whereas awesomely authentic is the first of its kind here in the RGV, a nonprofit organization that fundraises and sells merchandise to benefit the autism community by giving scholarships to local families who have individuals who are on the spectrum to help pay for occupational therapy, speech therapy, ABA therapy, among other services that a person with autism may require. And whereas Lisbeth Muriel, a McAllen resident, is the founder of the organization and has a 5-year-old son, Asher, who also has autism. Her aspiration is to establish and provide local help in the RGV, as she once did for her son. She now helps educate and advocates for inclusion daily through various mediums such as social media, speaking engagements, selling merchandise through pop-up markets, and more. She often displays videos with her son to provide a different perspective of autism and its spectrum and what they do for the community. And whereas the nonprofit organization focuses on the foundation of what persons with autism needs to be successful as a member of the society. This foundation includes awareness and necessary therapies to assist and refine a person with autism into a pillar to the community. With the lack of funding and awareness, many individuals with autism miss out on crucial resources. Therefore, early interventions is vital to provide the needed assistance and guidance. And whereas the City of McAllen wishes to extend its congratulations to Lisbeth and her son for head advocacy within the autism community, making a difference for those who are involved here in the RGV during Autism Awareness Month. Now, therefore, I, Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the Mayor and the City Commission, thereby proclaim April 28, 2025 as Awesomely Authentic Day. Congratulations.
Thank you all. I think I can speak that 1 out of every 36 people is on the neurospicy, as we all call it nowadays, spectrum. And I think that raising awareness, especially in today's climate, is more vital than ever. And it starts small, but your small contribution to raising awareness may echo 1,000,000 times to others who need to hear those words of affirmation, those positive reinforcements. And I appreciate the commissioners and the mayor. Thank you very much for your support. And Mr. Aguirre, thank you so much for listening to everything that we spoke about during elections. And I'm very appreciative of the city of McAllen being as forward to actually dedicating a day for such an important cause. And this is Asher. Asher, you want to say hi? Say hi. Thank you.
And next we have Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla for Ms. Rose Mendez Day. Ooh, yellow rose.
Hello, everyone. I'm proud to give the following proclamation. Whereas born and raised in Texas, Rose Mendez is a student at Castañeda Elementary and a shining example of youth leadership in the city of McAllen. And whereas Rose is a dedicated young woman with a deep passion in making a positive impact for her community. From a young age, she has embraced leadership roles, actively participated in civic duties and volunteering efforts that has uplifted those around her. Currently, she is serving as part of a multiple community outreach and public service initiatives, including the Palmview Royal Court, Breast Cancer Awareness Initiative, the Guardian Angels Tree Initiative, art donations with Joel Garcia, and local charitable organizations such as Casa Lidia, Maternity House. And whereas Rose comes from a family with a strong Texas heritage, including her great-grandmother, Aurora Diaz Austin, who is known as the Yellow Rose of Texas and was recognized for her outstanding commitment to the Texas community. And whereas Rose proudly follows in her family's footsteps, as was recently honored with the Yellow Rose of Texas Award bestowed by Governor Greg Abbott in recognition of her service, commitment to the community, and efforts to preserve history. Whereas the city of McAllen congratulates Rose Mendez for her outstanding achievement and wish her continued success. Now, therefore, I, Omar Quintanilla, Mayor Pro Tem of the city of McAllen, Texas, by virtue and authority vested in me on behalf of the Mayor and City Commission, do hereby proclaim April 28th, 2025 as Miss Rose Mendez Day. Congratulations.
Good, good.
Let's go take a picture up here.
That's it. Next we have Commissioner Aguirre, United Way of South Texas, 44th anniversary.
That's some good community leaders here. Wow. Hard to follow what we just followed through, but the United Way, so it has touched so many people in our community. Gonna have a proclamation here, the state of Texas. It's a little lengthy. County of Hidalgo and the city of McAllen. Whereas United Way of South Texas has been a steadfast partner in improving lives and strengthening communities throughout the region for the past 44 years. Wow, just that is a mouthful. Whereas United Way of South Texas supports local non-benefit nonprofit, agencies that provide critical services through over 75 local programs that focus on healthy communities, youth or opportunities, financial security, and community resiliency. And whereas United Way of South Texas mobilizes and connects businesses, community leaders, nonprofit organizations, and volunteers to address pressing local needs through collaborative efforts and targeted initiatives. And whereas the United Way of South Texas annual campaign is a vital source of funding for over 20 nonprofit agencies and over 75 programs, including directly impacting over 28,513 McAllen residents through partners such as the Salvation Army, the Boys and Girls Club, Palma Drug Abuse, Comfort House, the United Way's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program that generated over $1,640,000 in tax returns to more than 1,250 families this year in our city alone, and many other community impact efforts that serve children, families, seniors, and individuals in crisis. And whereas the United Way of South Texas initiatives such as the Back to School in Style shopping spree, Day of Caring, volunteer income tax assistance, and the Spirit of Christmas ensure that the most vulnerable members of our community receive the support they need to thrive. And whereas United Way of South Texas, through the collective impact of these programs and initiatives, not only strengthen individual lives, but also contributes to building a more unified and prosperous community for all. And whereas community involvement and support of United Way's mission is an investment in a stronger, healthier, and more resilient South Texas region. Now, therefore, I, Tony Aguirre Jr., City Commissioner for the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the Mayor and the City Commission, do hereby proclaim April the 28th as United Way of South Texas 44th anniversary.
Good afternoon. My name is Larry Gonzalez. I represent Plains Capital Bank, and I'm the current chairman of the board of United Way of South Texas. We serve Hidalgo and Stark County. That's kind of what we do. McAllen's part of that, and we're able to do so through donations primarily from organizations such as the City of McAllen. We appreciate that a lot. Last year, we served over 100,000 recipients of aid for different reasons, as Mr. Aguirre pointed out. So this is all service, community service that we give back, and we're glad to do it. And without the community support, it would not be possible for us to do what we do. And so I thank the commissioners and mayor for recognizing us, and we appreciate all the support that the city gives our organization, and it keeps us going. So we will continue to do that, and hopefully, we'll continue to serve as we have. And I thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you guys do.
Now we go to public hearings.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor. All right, so the first items is 1A, the routine items. So of course, for item number 1, it's 313 South Taylor Road. It's rezoning from R1 to R2. Item number 2 is 4617 North Jackson. It's rezoning from R1 to C2. The third item is 4200 North McCall. It's rezoning from AO to R3. This will have access off of K Center. Item number 4 is 700 East Sundown Drive. This is for conditional use permit for a guest house. Item number 5 is 2200 Trenton Road. This is for a conditional use permit for a smoke shop.
Okay, do we have anybody speak against any of these items? Items 1 through
1 through 5.
5. Yes, sir.
Where's one, Mr. Marroquin? Number 3 is included, the church is included.
That, the
You're gonna-
R1, the R1 to R2 will be in the next
next
group of
item.
considerations. These are only items considered routine
1
and
through 5.
suggested to be considered as one unit.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
Item B, this property is at 3100 Lark Avenue. It is near 29th and Lark. The request is to rezone from R1 to R2. The new R2 has a main lot size of 4,500 square feet for triplex, fourplexes, and townhouses at 2,250 square feet. The proposal has 22 lots that will require an 8-foot CMU wall. Yes, the R2 does allow triplex and fourplex, however, they will need to provide alleys, and this lot is too narrow to do alleys. They can just provide the one street with a cul-de-sac. As mentioned, the code does require secondary access, so right now this property does not have a secondary access. As far as setbacks, the front setbacks will be 20, rear would be 10, side would be 5, and the maximum height is 35 feet. These setbacks are identical as in the R1 zone. At the Planning and Zoning Commission of April 1st, we had one resident in opposition in regards to the rezoning. They had concerns in regards to traffic and noise. We did get a petition this past week, and it had raised 41% of opposition of the 200-foot radius of the map. And then the board voted to recommend approval with 5 members present and 4 members voting for the rezoning and 1 member voting against it.
Just to be clear, Omar, at the time P&Z considered this item, there was only 1 person present at that meeting, and
Yes,
you
sir.
had not yet received the petition.
Correct, sir.
That petition came in after the
After-
P&Z meeting.
This past week.
That's correct.
And the effect it has?
That will trigger a supermajority requirement for approval of this item.
And the supermajority is?
5.
No. President voted 6.
6,
You
I'm
need
sorry,
6?
Mayor. 6.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right, 6 plus the mayor, yeah.
Okay. Anybody here speak against any of these items? Or, actually, we do.
If we could just please have your name and address for the record.
My name is Mario Quintanilla. I live at 6604 North 32nd Street. Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. Thank you for your time.
Good evening.
We, the undersigned, oppose the construction of a medium-density complex at 3100 Lark Avenue. Below are some of the key concerns we have. A medium-density complex could disrupt the uniformity of our single-family home neighborhood, defined by our spacious lots, quiet streets, and privacy. Introducing a denser urban element would conflict with its suburban aesthetic. Lark Avenue is approximately 30 feet wide. It's designed for low traffic. Now, if you compare that to 29th or even Trenton, those vary from 45 to 65 feet wide roads. Additional vehicles and residents can worsen existing congestion, spilling parking onto our streets, threatening our safe, quiet environment for our children and families. More households could overburden water, sewer, and school systems that were designed and sized for lower density areas. This risks service disruptions or costly upgrades potentially funded by taxpayers. Unlike single-family homes, a medium-density complex could house multiple families or tenants with varied schedules, increasing noise from shared walls, outdoor activity, or traffic, disturbing our neighborhood's peace. A medium-density complex built against existing homes introduces windows or balconies overlooking private yards, eroding the seclusion families chose the suburb for, especially without buffers like fences or trees. I think there was even a picture I had of an example. I'm not sure if it's come up. If zoned for a medium density use, approving a complex could pave the way for denser development, threatening our suburban lifestyle we as residents have invested in. Multifamily housing attracts denser or transient population, including renters that have less stake in the community versus homeowners. This mix is sometimes tied lower incomes, weaker ties, can correlate with higher crime rates, theft, or even vandalism. Proximity to a denser development can increase light pollution, disrupting a nighttime ambience of our residential area. I know there was an example that I had submitted of kind of a situation on the north part of our area on Xenops. There was a recently commercial building was built up right against the fence line, and all that lighting is blasting our maybe about 8 homes. I believe it should be in some of the documents I submitted. In closing, we urge the City of McAllen to deny this rezoning proposal or relocate the proposed complex to a site better suited for multifamily housing, preserving our neighborhood's integrity. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Zamora, for being a loud voice for us. We thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good evening. My name is Delia Mendoza. I live a couple lots down from the proposed rezone spot. First, I want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to voice our concerns. And the main reason that many of us weren't here the first go around was because we didn't know. We don't live within the 200 feet that are the only ones required to get any kind of information regarding rezoning, but it affects way more than 200 feet. One of the adjacent properties was recently sold, so there's not anyone living there. I don't know if they're even aware of what's being planned to go right up next to this $700,000 investment they've just made. Okay. So first of all, only property owners that were within the 200 feet. Again, radius were notified in writing about the first meeting, and again, it affects more than them. Maybe this rule could be changed moving forward. Next, all properties that surround the property are all single-family homes. Behind, across the street, the 3 homes east and the 3 homes that are west homes that are also on 2 acres. And your city map will show that, how it had all been divided originally, okay? 22 townhomes with, what was it, 8-foot walls or whatever the walls were, really does invade privacy and the integrity of our neighborhood. And although Lark between 29th and Ware is 3 lanes, only the south side even has sidewalks, and there's limited space on the north side. 1 lane is often backed up by traffic going to and from Garza Elementary as it is. So those lanes are always taken up morning and afternoon as well. With the stoplight being there on 29th and on Ware, is there going to be some kind of light to direct that traffic from all that will be coming in and out from that area and directly across? Lastly, research indicates that property values can decrease as much as 14% when multifamily developments are constructed nearby homes. While lower tax evaluations might be able to reduce our taxes after we got ours this year, not getting full potential if we choose to sell might be worse. Okay, so, lastly, the lack of communication to all that are truly affected hindered our attending the original proceedings to voice our concerns. In gathering all the signatures, all were disappointed and all are very concerned. We got 41.9% of the needed 20% in that area, and we went also beyond the 200 feet, like all the homes directly in line with that development there. We're hoping that the signatures that were submitted will be sufficient to emphasize the opposition to this lot being rezoned, whether or not there's a lot of us in attendance or not. All of them work. When we went to get signatures, it was after 6:00 p.m. They all said that they moved there because of the quietness, again, and the integrity of our neighborhood, as we did when we invested in our 2-acre properties. Thank you.
May we have your address for the record, please?
For the record, it's 3216 Lark.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jorge Antonio Forina. I live at 3201 Mina Avenue. And Mr. Tuel, Mayor Villalobos, commissioners, thank you for this time to express our importance on the issue at hand right now. For 27 years, I've woken up, stepped down to my back porch, and seen nothing but lark. And I always wished, man, I can't wait till I meet my neighbor. After years of research, I was able to find out who the proper owner was, and on a couple of occasions, actually reached out to the owner and said, I'm interested in buying the property. I'd like an opportunity. And I was told it was in a family trust, and that was not going to be discussed. Fine. My next issue was there was a tree that would push up against my fence. When I moved in the area in 1996, the entire back fence that was built by my constructor, Mr. Moffett, was on the ground, and I removed that piece by piece in order to get my new fence up. I still have that tree, by the way. But then I hear this development is coming to town and the property. Its own observations on page 45 of your agenda, the townhomes are not uniform with the area. The increased traffic will only add to the busy area. We are working with 35-year-old infrastructure, and I don't know if you agree with me, but I don't know if that can maintain this addition. Noise and light pollution is a big issue. The property value, I mean, we've all seen it. No need to discuss that. So at the end of the day, looking at the design, I have the cul-de-sac directly in my backyard. I know that the needed requirement of homes in opposition have been met, but my concern is that there's going to be a loophole. So I trust in you, our elected officials, to properly represent not only Los Gonzalez subdivision, but Regency Park Estates. And lastly, Mr. Mayor, I know that you started off the meeting to wish a happy birthday to Commissioner Cabeza de Vaca, but your birthday is on May the 6th, sir, so a happy birthday to you. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonilla.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi inglés es muy corto, pero yo junto con mi esposa tenemos 30 años de estar viviendo en 3421 Martin Avenue, que la barda de nosotros da a la calle Lark. Entonces, por 30 años hemos visto cómo fue desarrollándose el área. Hace como unos 10 años se puso a la venta ese mismo terreno y fue mi hijo, que tenía más posibilidades económicas, a preguntar si lo podía vender para hacer una casa grande para él y una de invitados, para tenernos a vivir allí a mi esposa y a mí. Yo tengo 77 años y mi esposa tiene 75. Entonces, como buen hijo, quería tenernos cerca de la casa. Bien. Pues no fue posible, no dieron permiso de hacer eso y no se pudo lograr esa situación. Ahora que me di cuenta hace 3 semanas y me invitaron a estar por aquí, dijeron que iba a pasar. Pienso que no es un área para poner departamentos o hacer pequeños lotes, como para que gente que tiene necesidad de hacerlo, no es porque no tenga necesidad de hacer cualquier persona tener sus valores dentro de McAllen, pero no es un área de departamentos. Por ahí alrededor no tenemos departamentos o secciones como se hacen en varias partes, los 4 casitas y las venden y las lotean. Pero creo que por ahí no va la situación. Básicamente es mucho el tráfico que pasa por ahí y meter más gente que unas veces tienen 1 o 2 carros, pero hay vecinos, como en mi caso es un problema que después se platicará. Hay gente que tiene una casa normal de 2,000 pies cuadrados y tienen 5 o 6 carros, pues estarán viviendo por ahí familiares y varias gentes, ¿verdad? Pero ese es otro asunto. Al grado es que eso puede suceder, que puede haber mucho más carros debido a la cantidad de gente que se va a acumular ahí. No estoy a favor definitivamente de que se haga departamentos ahí al área, porque no fue hecho o determinado para hacer eso. Si ven ustedes todos ahí alrededor, son puras casas de 2,500, 2,000, es el tamaño de gente clase media baja que estamos viviendo por ahí, ¿sí?
Gracias, señor. ¿Sí nos podría dar su nombre y dirección, por favor?
¿Cómo no? Mi nombre es Juan Javier Gaitán, mi dirección es el 3421 Martin Avenue y mi teléfono es el 4980. Sí.
Muchas gracias.
Cualquier cosa que necesiten, ahí estamos a las órdenes. No tengo trabajo, estoy ya jubilado, pero
Mucho tiempo.
Dios, ¿sí?
Tiene tiempo.
Claro que sí. Tengo
Para
mucho
7-7
tiempo.
se ve muy bien, te apoyo.
Gracias. Ahí andamos ahí.
Buen caballero, gracias.
A salir como siempre. Ojalá que esta no se decida a favor de las personas que quieren hacer y tomen en cuenta las cosas que han expresado aquí por el bienestar de los que vivimos alrededor.
Thank you, sir.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Do we have the applicant?
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. My name is Milo Salinas. I'm the project engineer with M2 Engineering. We're located at 1810 East Griffin in Mission 78572. And basically, we're proposing to rezone to R2, but R2 is kind of vague. It allows for duplexes and fourplexes. The intent of this project is to do detached homes, townhomes, the residential style, similar to something like this. They're garden homes. We're proposing to do, it allows for 40 feet wide is a minimum. It's less than 25 lots. It's the only thing that's feasible for this type of project. We're not proposing to do any multifamily. It's residential. They still have to meet side setbacks. They're detached. They have their own driveway. They have their own parking spot. They have garages. Kids can walk to school. We still have to do a traffic impact, traffic generation form. We still have to dedicate right away. There's still a lot of thought that needs to be done. We're just respectfully asking to be able to rezone. And again, it's not being proposed to do multifamily. This is detached garden homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Commission questions, anybody else?
He's talking about garden homes, but the proposal is R2. And R2 is a non-conforming in that area.
Right.
I mean, it's all R1s, and if he was trying to do garden homes like he was saying, which is a type of townhomes or R1s, he should have discussed it with the neighborhood and talked about it with them to see if they were okay with that proposal, But I cannot support the R2 just for the nature of it.
But garden homes you can do them under R1 if they're small garden homes.
And yes, Commissioner, that's exactly my point. That
Right.
if he was, putting that in front, he could talk to the neighborhood and tell, well, it's not R2, it's more like a R1 type of thing.
When it comes to the R1, you have a lot square footage of 5,000 square feet. So that's one thing that they wouldn't be able to do it.
And what's the area in this?
I'm sorry?
What would be the area in this?
2,000, about 3,000, right under 3,000.
This is more density for sure.
Correct. So it would be a max of, right now they're proposing 22 units. So anything like I had mentioned earlier, anything more than 30 units, they would have to provide a secondary access, and they don't have the access.
They don't have it? That's a safety issue too.
I make a motion to disapprove.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Okay, next item.
All right, next item is a conditional use permit at 501 Wichita Avenue. They are requesting to amend the conditional use permit to add in a maintenance facility building. At the Planning and Zoning Commission of April 1st, we had one individual in opposition of the conditional use permit that it would affect her property and asked if the property would need it to be rezoned. At this point, the conditional use permit is allowed in any zone. So the board voted unanimously to recommend approval.
Questions, comments?
Anyone in opposition?
That's public hearing.
Anybody to speak against this item?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item C2 is located at 2301 North 23rd. It's a request for conditional use permit for a vape shop and a liquor store. The shop is located at the west side of McAllen High School. At the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of April 1st, no one appeared in opposition to the conditional use permit. However, the board raised concerns of the location being close to the high school. There was 5 board members present, 3 board members voted disapproval, and 2 members voted request approval.
Mayor, this item will require supermajority for approval.
Excuse me. Okay. So anybody speak against the item? Against?
No.
The applicant.
Okay, for?
Yes.
Anybody to speak for the item?
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Lisbeth Riquelme y mi dirección es 2104 Norte H en McAllen. Bueno, les quería nada más explicar un poquito de este negocio. Es un negocio que se pensaba abrir de 10 de la mañana a 9 de la noche, va a estar cerrado. No es nada para ingerir alcohol en el lugar. Es un lugar donde nada más se va a vender para llevar los vapes y licor. Es una plaza nueva que acabamos de desarrollar ahí en la 23 y la Vista. Y pues ahorita estamos tratando de llenar esa área, ¿no? Para poder mejorar ahí. No sé, les quería pedir a ustedes la oportunidad de que pudieran darle la oportunidad a este negocio de abrir, ya que, pues bueno, es un negocio local y es lo que queríamos apoyar. Es un negocio que va a generar taxas también y digo, pues, nada más quería pedirles si nos dieran la oportunidad. Sé que cada año se puede estar revisando, a ver si pudiéramos hacerlo por este primer año. Ya lo
This is on the
checamos.
west side of 23rd, correct?
Al cruzar, yes.
West side of
I think
23rd.
it's where that old car
car
wash.
wash was.
Exacto.
Dilapidated
Oh,
was.
okay.
Sí.
Back in the.
So you have the fields, you have all that stuff.
Fields, no, you have the soccer stadium, the soccer field.
Yeah,
Sí,
across
son los
from-
campos.
Well, the soccer field is pretty much in the stadium. That's the practice.
Well,
It's the practice facility across the street.
Yeah.
Now, for legal, is there a length that needs to be between a school and a liquor store?
There is, Mayor, under TVC, this meets that length or distance requirement because it's not next to the building itself.
It is not what?
It's not next to the building, and it's across the street, so that distance requirement is met. It's not triggered.
So it's okay?
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I'm saying, I mean, you have a football field, you have,
Right.
I mean, the school's over there, the kids are over there, and they shouldn't be there if it's a liquor store anyway.
I
That's the way-
understand that, but this is a high-traffic area where there are a lot of students that walk from a lot of residential apartments that are just west of 23rd, south of La Vista, and north of Upis. I'm very familiar with that area. It's in District 3. I went to McAllen High School. I had a lot of friends that went to McAllen High School who walk those streets, whether it be on La Vista, on Upis, to cross. The issue is, and the concern I have, is the accessibility. More importantly, too, is the aesthetics of that particular area. That area is going under transition, unfortunately, and it's not for the better. I believe that a vape shop like this is going to
This is not a bit.
not be in a more positive light. There's some statistics and some scientific evidence about vaping and what it does to a person and all these other things. I'm not a scientist, I'm a lawyer, so I can't attest to that, but it's coming out. I think we do have a responsibility as a community, as a city, to protect the safety, welfare, and morals of this community, and it starts with our children. And so, in history, since I've been on this board, I've always scrutinized anytime there's a liquor store or a vape shop within X number of feet. I understand it's a soccer field. I understand that it doesn't have an actual school educational facility, but to be pragmatic, the practical, looking at it, children and students do cross through that area. And for me, it's an aesthetic, kind of issue where you have students that have access to it, and it doesn't take a whole lot for a 17-year-old or 18-year-old to go in there and come out. And that's the issue that I have. It's not necessarily the operation in and of itself, it's what the other side does.
Yeah, there can be rules and that kind of thing because you can put signage that.
De hecho, van a haber, perdón, adelante. Van a haber anuncios donde no pueden entrar menores de edad y se va a pedir ID. O sea, en el grab que ponen en las ventanas van a estar los anuncios que es únicamente para mayores de edad y que se requiere ID para entrar.
And also, Commissioner, you talk about history, but there's history also that we have other places near schools, that sell.
I understand.
And we don't have too much of a problem. We're always being, and I understand on the aesthetic that you said, but it's a brand new plaza. It's something that You know, it's a civic thing also, you know, what people know what to do and what not to do.
Right.
You know, and if there's gonna be signage of impeding, you know, certain citizens to go in, well, that's like a good warning on trying to deter, you know, deter.
Right.
So those kind of things.
Hay otros lugares en otras escuelas que sí venden alcohol. Nosotros no se va a vender alcohol ahí. O sea, para consumir ahí. Es únicamente para llevar. Y como le digo, sí van a estar pidiendo, como quiera va a tener el anuncio que no pueden entrar menores.
I understand.
Okay.
But, I mean, I hate to drop this, but I've been a prosecutor for 27
Entiendo.
years.
Okay.
Signs don't do a whole lot to people if they have a way and a will to get it.
Okay, but the problem is, if they have a way and a will, they can go to another liquor
Yeah.
store, whether it's there or not. They can just drive anywhere.
Yes.
The thing is, I always look at what the individuals are doing. They've invested, and we cannot balance the safety of children versus the investment of somebody, because it's totally different.
I disagree.
But we are also not the police.
We're not the moral police, I
We're not
agree
the moral
either,
police.
but we do have
So
a
we need to place
responsibility.
responsibility on children, on them if they do it.
Children are
on
children,
everybody.
responsibility goes on the adults, and we are the adults at this point.
Correct, but we're assuming that just because there's a liquor store around, that they're gonna go. We don't know that, and we hope not, and they're gonna enforce that it doesn't happen.
There's another liquor
You
store 2
can't
blocks from there.
balance business interests with the
Correct.
safety of children, but that's done by laws that are already in place. Legal age
Correct.
laws. This plaza to me as a new plaza is uplifting the area. It's one of, looks to be about possibly 9 tenants, small space. It's a retail establishment that is honestly selling only to adults, or should only be selling to adults. Should they cross that line, they have a CUP that can be.
Yeah, Polt District.
Yeah,
And
it can-
TABC.
Well,
And TABC.
I mean, we can do,
Yeah,
you can have
the
enforcement
city-
action if something pops up, but as a matter of accessibility, whether it's alcohol or vaping, it's widely accessible throughout the city because it's a legal product to sell. I agree with Zamora on vaping. I think it's a terrible habit. I think people shouldn't do it. That's me personally. I think the science is going to come out and it's going to be difficult for people who do choose to vape. But adults with their own willful decisions are the ones walking into a shop like this. I don't think it's tempting
I mean,
for a high school student to walk in personally.
I do hear what you're saying, although I have heard that a lot of high school students do vape. And in general, I've been against vape shops anywhere throughout the city, and especially close to a school. And so has Commissioner Zamora. And so that's, I guess we're just voicing our concern. And like was mentioned earlier, signs may not necessarily deter a youngster from grabbing or from going in there and getting something. And so, and the aesthetics part and the fact that you have a nice building, but now it's being influenced, impacted by the use of a particular store that's coming in there. Really, we have a proliferation of this kind of a store
It's based on market
throughout.
demand.
Market demand, of course. But what can we do about it? We can limit it, just like we're doing car washes, right? So, I mean, I'm all for this wonderful project because it removed an eyesore to a beautiful retail center, but this type of a store right next to apartment complexes and on the other side of school, I don't think it's the best use. I mean, it's just, it's inappropriate.
On Bicentennial, the main entrance over there. And you can give the opportunity to the business to prove themselves. I mean, it's a CUP, it goes every year, it doesn't work. It's jacket, you have the state and you have the city.
Yo les pido nada más que me den la oportunidad por el primer año y que lo puedan reconsiderar el siguiente año.
I really think we should not interject our personal feelings. We get elected to see and do what's best for everybody overall.
I agree,
And sometimes
Mayor.
we interject our personal feelings and we shouldn't. And I understand, Commissioner, as
I'm
a
not
district
using personal
attorney,
feelings, I'm
as a
using
district
logic and
attorney,
experience.
a
And
lot
that's
of
what the
stuff we
voters
see-
put me to be sitting on as District 2 Commissioner.
but not to be an officer and regulate. I mean, to me,
That's
it's
what we're
always
doing.
been.
We are regulating through
No.
a conditional use permit.
Well, not unduly regulate. To me, if it meets, it meets. That's what McAllen's been known for business. There's, like I think Commissioner said, there's a bunch of them. Well, there's a bunch of them because there's a demand. Just like restaurants, we keep on getting more restaurants.
Right.
You know, the only thing I think we've ever regulated more is car washes, but more because of water usage. You know, so I just think we gotta be careful and not, you know, we want people to come and invest and make it safely, and we have our police, TABC, we can yank the conditional use, we can do all that
We can
stuff.
yank that.
I say give them an opportunity. Give them an opportunity.
If it doesn't work and there's problems and stuff like that, you jank that CUP.
Is this a super majority?
Yes, sir.
Is that
6.
You had mentioned that the alcohol will not be consumed there, but will vaping be consumed there?
No, no.
I'll make a motion to deny the conditional use permit as requested by the applicant.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Aye.
What was it? Oh, shit.
Now you gotta flip it.
Now, I guess, do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a
Second.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Against?
Aye.
Aye.
Guys, does not pass.
Ok. Gracias.
Okay, we have
Amend the zoning ordinance.
motion to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of McAllen.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Consent agenda items A through
J.
through J. We need to pull anything out. If not, do I hear a motion to approve items A through J in the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 3.
Mayor, item 3A is consideration and approval of interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1, the City of McAllen, and Hidalgo County Precinct 4, Eduardo.
Mayor and Commission, good afternoon. The proposed siphon is located on Ruth Road, north of Russell Road. The proposed interlocal agreement outlines the responsibilities and cost-sharing arrangement between the district, the irrigation district, city, the county, for the construction of the siphon crossing, involving the installation of two 54-inch reinforced concrete pipes at Ruth Road. The district will oversee the procurement of the construction, professional engineering and related services, as well as the long-term maintenance of the infrastructure. This project is needed to improve the access and safety of Ruth Road. Right now, an open canal crosses the road, which makes it hard for vehicles to pass and creates problems for traffic and emergency vehicles. Under these terms of the proposed agreement, the city would contribute $405,000 as a one-time payment to the district. These funds come from a developer escrow funds, so they're being paid as part of the development process. We're asking to shift these funds to cover this expense. This is the first step that would lead us to looking at a project to widen Ruth Road in that area. Staff recommends approval of the amendment to the interlocal agreement, and we open it up for any questions.
I can only assume that the siphon is underground wide enough that it would be under any right-of-way acquisition or at a future widening or expansion of the road?
So we have a projected road of 70 foot, we have 70 foot right of way for the projected road to put out either a 48 or 60 foot road. This would go beyond that. They would push the infrastructure beyond that limits. We do have a diagram in there showing what they would fill up. It would still be elevated, but what it does, what it improves in the safety is that open canal right now. If you go by there, it's right off the edge. That pushes that distance off. In the future, as part of this agreement, in fact, we had a meeting this morning with TxDOT. TxDOT's going to help contribute funds. Just adjacent to that, there's a drainage canal. They'll be helping to, TxDOT will be helping to improve the drainage in that area. We'll go from 48-inch pipes to a box in that area. And Textile will be contributing. That's not part of this agreement, but it's part of the work that we've been doing between the irrigation district, Hidalgo County Drainage District, with the county and TxDOT and ourselves to make improvements in this area.
Does the one-time payment contemplate, I guess, I don't even want to use the phrase, but a crossing fee?
We don't have to pay a crossing fee for that. What we're trying to negotiate right now is if they would extend a drainage pipe to the north to get a relief. That is not part of this, but that would simplify development in the future. We discussed that this morning. But right now, we work fairly well with District 1. We've never really been charged drainage or crossing fees. But they do put us responsible for the infrastructure as they are today.
I see. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Let's take item 4A and B together.
Mayor, Commissioners, I put these items, I was inclined to include them on the consent agenda, but I didn't because I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of the work Julia has done in our grants department. The funds that she has before you in these substantial amendments were monies that were allocated to be administered by community agency. Those funds were put at risk, but Julia, through her work and her department's efforts, have been able to save the monies. And she is prepared to administer those in-house. So I'll let her give the details. But I'm very proud of the work that her office did in recapturing these monies and being able to repurpose them. Julia, go ahead.
Thank you. So this proposed amendment involves the substantial amendment of the 2019 and the 2020 annual action plans for the Home Investment Partnerships Program. These funds were previously allocated to Affordable Homes of South Texas for tenant-based rental assistance. The city will now be administering the program directly. These funds will provide up to 12 months of rental assistance for low-income individuals. In order to do this process, we fulfilled all the requirements of our citizen participation plan, which is, we held a 30-day comment period from March 20th to April 21st, and additionally, we held a public hearing on April 8th. We did not receive any public comments during the hearing nor during the comment period. So.
And the amount of money?
It's about $600,000 together.
It's a substantial amount of money, Mayor.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I always say we have the best staff.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
What do you do?
Do I hear a motion to approve items 4A and B?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 5A.
Thank you.
Mayor, items 5A, B, C, and D all relate to the city's efforts to prepare itself for our groundwater desal project that we've discussed at length.
Does anybody have any questions regarding items A, B, C, D? If not, do I hear a motion to
No
approve?
vote to approve said items.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you. That was a tough job.
Managers report, advisory board appointments.
So Mayor, I need a record vote on 5D, please.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, on 5D, I had a motion and second to approve. Rudy?
Record? Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Motion passes. Okay, advisory board appointments?
Yes, Mayor and City Commission, this item is for advisory board appointments. Mayor, you are nominating Francisco Mesa to the McAllen Housing Authority Board. Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla, you nominated Jose El Caso to the Planning and Zoning Board. And Commissioner Castillo nominated Ramiro Sarabia to the Parks and Recreation Board. There are a couple of nominations that are pending, and I'll take any nominations at this time.
You keep looking at me.
For-
I'd like to nominate Ms. Henry for the Community Development Council.
CDBG?
For Keep McAllen Beautiful, I'd like to nominate Janie Gracia.
Janie Gracia or Gracia?
Gracia.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's it? There a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
Mayor, item, I don't even know what number we're on, 6B is consideration approval of city employee health plan premiums for 25-26 fiscal year. Mayor, these premiums are in line with the report that was given at last workshop. Again, I was inclined to put them on the consent agenda, but I wanted to make sure that we were transparent in the changes that we were making to the plan. Jolie is here if you have any questions, but nothing has changed since that presentation.
So the presentation, does anybody have any questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Future agenda items?
Mayor, if I could interject here real quick, it's a future agenda item depending on what the state legislature does. Denny Moline, our Parks and Rec Director, is here. He was in Austin this morning testifying on some legislation that would allow some latitude in how the city acquires parkland. And so I just want to thank Denny for the effort he made. He was on the red eye out this morning, made it up to the Hill to testify for us, and I heard did a fantastic job. So Denny, thanks for going up there for us.
Thank you.
Questions, guys?
Question?
And I'm sorry, I jumped in on future agenda items, but if there are any matters the commission wants us to consider, we'll work on the citywide Wi-Fi update for you, Commissioner Haddad. If there are any other items you'd like us
Anything
to add
else?
to the list, we're happy to get them on there.
Okay, we have item number 7. It's on the table.
Motion to remove said item from table 7A.
Second.
All in
That's
favor?
Quinta Mazatlán.
Against?
The scope of that's changed, right?
We're ready to take it off the table.
Go ahead.
Okay. Last commission meeting, we discussed, we wanted a little more detail. We've added some pictures. We've given you, on the first project, the restroom, it's 900 square feet. There's 5 individual restrooms, compared to when we design other facilities. That's all in one room, male and female is in one area. These are individual stalls. The 5th restroom is an oversized changing room, so that people can go in and change in their water clothes. On the outside, there's a water station for them to wash their hands. It's in a community-style wash station. On top of that, there is landscaping and additional amenities for seating. And then a little bit different than our typical restrooms that we do at a park. At a park, we'll use a CMU wall out there. It's kind of a basic wall. What the wall here is, it's the lithocrete wall, sorry about that, wall that matches the Rio Gorge, where we have, it's concrete, and then there's like little distressing on it. Takes a little extra form work. So when you look at that, that's 900 square feet. What we've done is we've gotten 2 recent restrooms to kind of give you an evaluation of where the price stands for the restroom. Kepler Park, we got 3 prices. This restroom is 710 square feet. It's a men's and women's facility with a family restroom. The low bid was $265,000. The high bid was $365,000. That falls within the square foot range. The high end would fall within this one. That is basic CMU wall with a metal roof. When we look at Morris Park, when we extrapolated the prices out of the pricing there, that was $330,000 for 783 square feet. That's a basic male and female restroom. I think everybody has gone in and seen what that type of restroom is. When you look at the facility that we're providing here, it's a little higher end, it's a little bigger. They're individual stalls, so it's not the partition, it's an actual wall. All of those things are gonna drive the cost a little bit. Moving on to the Magic Tunnel. We have a price of $1,172,329. That Magic Tunnel is 360 foot. If you just take the segments, it's 360 foot worth of segments. It spans over 800 linear feet. That's Corten steel. We put some drawings. That structure include lighting, landscaping, benches. On top of that, It's used for the school drop-off in the metro facility there. They'll take advantage of that shade structure while you're walking in. We worked with the architect on that. We put some renderings in the back for you to take a look at, and then we open it up for any questions. This does not, again, it's not going to increase our GMP. We're working that price within the GMP because we've already had buyout savings and contractor buyout savings as well. And so we would be using that to put these amenities into the project.
Questions?
So the Magic Tunnel schematic, I'm sorry, the Magic Tunnel is kind of also like a shade structure? Aside
That's
from being an entrance?
That's the end. That's the intent. As you're walking in, if you get dropped off, you can walk through this shade structure. It should carry the vine as well, similar to what we have at the main structure. And so we're just carrying that theme through from the beginning to the end. This was always originally programmed. We didn't have the funding at the beginning of this project when we kicked it off for construction.
Are the restrooms air conditioned?
No, sir. These are open air restrooms. That's why I use the comparative of park restrooms and give you the price per square foot for those. And, you know, they're very similar to what we're doing right now at Kepler and Morris, what we've done, except these walls are actually upgraded walls where the forming actually takes a little bit of work to get that lithocrete look that's similar to the real gorge.
What's the cost of that Litho Creek look?
Well, I mean, you can see this value. I mean, we're at the top end. When you look at Kepler, at the high price that they got of $500 a square foot, more or less, that's what this would come in at. And those were just CMU walls. And so the pricing is there. I mean, when we're asked, how does that compare to prices that are out there? It's fairly similar. We're seeing that in the market.
Get ready for the question. Is this a need or a want?
The restroom is, in my opinion, when working with Mr.
The
Vera-
restroom in the form that that's being proposed, is that a need or a want?
I mean,
Because we need a restroom, right?
I'll say this, is we're building a facility that's second to none. And it would look fairly odd to just have a CMU structure out there. When we came forward in the original presentation, we were up front with, we had about a $400,000 budget we were aiming at. Part of this budget has a contingency. We hope not to use that contingency. That would drive us down under the $500,000 range. When you look at, there's going to be a water feature out there, and there's nowhere to kind of change and go to the restroom. The nearest restrooms, as far as 1,000 feet. This is a needed structure. Can you do something more basic? You can. I don't think the cost savings is much when you look at the prices that I just discussed with Kepler and Morris. And so if you want to keep the integrity, it's a minor per square foot. It's maybe $50 to $60 more that you're paying. And you're going to get something that matches the quality of this facility.
Definitely, it's a great
I truly
project.
think it is needed.
And the tunnel is going to be another wow factor into this kind of thing. And
Yes,
the
sir.
accessibility to restrooms is very important also, because you have different people that have some needs, even disability, people with disability needs access to those restrooms nearby. So I'm loving the Quinta Mazatlan project. This is going to be, like you said, second to none. I'm all forward to.
I think the issue is, I'm grateful that
and awesome. Thank you so much for
that the department was able to get those cost savings. And maybe, for me, this is a timing issue, because we're not done with the project, right? If we had those cost savings and we're near the end, and this is something that we were looking at, I would have already shut my mouth up. As a matter of fact, I probably just kept it closed. But not knowing what tomorrow, the next month, next half year begs, I think that's just a lot at this point. And I don't know in terms of the timing and phasing, if this must fit in the next 2 months to be done, and it can't be done at the tail end. Certainly, that's something I have to maybe consider or reconsider, take that. But if this is something that we can postpone a little while, make sure, so that way the major parts of the project, to me, the tunnel is probably, to me, is more important, simply because of the amount of square footage it's going to cover, certainly provide the shade that's very much necessary, given our area. to me, is more important than the restroom, right? A restroom in basic form, for sure, is needed, and I agree with that. But it's the embellishment, I think, is the part that I'm a little concerned about.
Eduardo, may I?
Okay, yes, sir.
One of the things I want to share, Commission, is the Center for Urban Ecology experience at Quinta Mazatlan will be an immersive experience. The aesthetic of what you enjoy, what the public enjoys when it goes there, will carry throughout and be part of the learning and nature experience that they enjoy. And so I would ask you to consider that as part of your analysis. If restrooms are a need in that location, for them to be a significantly lesser quality would take away from the experience the user has, from the children who go out there to adults who are there to explore the way they do. So I would just emphasize the immersive nature of the project.
Definitely.
And the thing is, one of my first fights when I got elected to the commission was restrooms in the baseball fields, and we did something about it. But this is not a baseball field. This is Quinta Mazatlan Center for Urban Ecology, and I think we got to make it beautiful and make it complete and make it part of everything to make it fit the way it's supposed to be.
As you say, it's second to none.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I
One
think
last
you should,
question.
to me personally, I think it should be one of the best things, and it should have air conditioning for that price. Definitely.
Thank you.
It's a window unit.
So maybe I missed your answer. I'm sorry, Eduardo. I was asking about the phasing of this particular construction of this restroom in the locale that's being proposed, right?
Yes, sir. And that's what I wanted to answer. The other part, it's your all's decision. But as far as phasing, so the reason we waited 2 extra months before we brought this, because we wanted to be sure on the pricing as we're moving through this project. And so what's different in this project, and thank you guys for allowing us to do a guaranteed maximum price on this project. And so as we locked in the savings, and we have the contractor in the back, just in case I need help fielding any questions. As we lock in this project, and we've locked it into a point where they even felt comfortable using their contractor contingency to cover some of these costs, meaning they've already looked at the difficulty, we've already put the wings over, and we feel more confident bringing this forward knowing that there's less unforeseens that we're going to have out there. They're required to meet the GMP. Now, any unforeseen, and we're pretty much out of the ground now, so that's where we usually see a lot of the unforeseens. The building is on its way. It's not close to substantial, but we've started on the building, and they have the expertise to start saying we're good at locking in that price. And so that's why we thought the timing was right to bring this forward. We knew we were coming to the end where this may not make it on time at the same time of January that we're looking to open, but the timing showed up, and that's why we came forward to present it, because we feel the timing is right, where we're locked in the price, the contractor's comfortable giving us some of that contractor contingency back to put into this project. And so that's why we brought it forward.
Hear a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We have executive session items.
Thank you, guys.
Mayor, with regards to item 8A and 8B, I recommend that the commission entertain a motion to authorize the city attorney and city manager to proceed as described in executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Against? Motion carries. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
All right. Oh, wait.
Oh. Certainly.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.